Greetings, I'm Rob Chappers.
And I'm the captain.
With a dirty chest.
I was just cleaning myself up to make myself look presentable.
And today, we're going to give you tones in your face.
Yes, we haven't done a sound like for ages, other than the one you did this morning. But, so we went through all the lists of people that you guys want us to try and do a sound like rig for. And one of the most popular guys you asked about was Angus Young.
And there's this running commentary on YouTube about the fact that Chappers never plays an SG.
Ah.
Because I pretty much don't. This is awesome.
So, Angus Young, we set ourselves a budget of £1,000, which we invariably blow, but we've tried not to. So, now, this is actually, Angus Young is the simplest rig to put together, but the hardest to nail.
A bit like Brian May was incredibly hard to get as well.
Exactly like that, and probably for the same reason, in that the Angus Young tone is very much fingers and volume, and they're two things you can't buy. Basically, you know, you have to develop your own fingers, and what's that?
Fingers.
Fingers are something you can't buy.
So yeah, fingers and volume. So we've got some fingers belonging here to Mr. Chapman, who's going to do his best to sound like Angus Young, and maybe B will come in and do a bit as well. Maybe I'll even have a bit. And we've got ourselves a Marshall tube amp. We've got two Marshall tube amps actually, and a pedal which surprised us a bit.
Favourite new TC Electronic pedal called the Spark.
Yeah, I wanted to keep the Angus Young sound all about volume with a tiny bit of gain, and then what I wanted to use was a boost pedal for lead solo stuff. When we've tried to do Angus Young before, the mistake is to dial, you know, 50% or 75% of the gain on the amplifier, and then you get all the fizz and none of the raw that Angus Young kind of has. I'll tell you a little bit about the amplifier in a minute, and I'll close up on the channel so you can see. But Rob, why don't you tell us about this here fine dandy guitar?
Well, I think I'll tell you from a player's perspective how it feels, because I think that's probably the most important thing about this guitar, is that when Pablo went, oh, I know, there's a great guitar we could get, it's this SG Junior, we were like, all right, It
might be as well. I think, just to clarify that, on the 2013 model, just so that you don't get confused with older SG Juniors, this will probably just be referred to as an SGJ.
Oh, okay, SGJ.
Yeah.
SGJ. We were like, is it in budget? Will it do kind of thing, you know, let's hope it's not substandard.
Yeah.
And then me and Bea can't put it down because it's absolutely awesome. It's got this really nice feeling, kind of stained finish, natural wood all over the whole thing. It just feels awesome. No gloop. It's got this fat neck,
yeah, it has got a fat
but
neck,
a skinny body. So it kind of looks funny from a sideway view, but it's paperweight. I mean, it's so light. It's incredible. Really resonant. It's got a lovely rosewood fingerboard. The frets are jumbo, not extra jumbo, but they're fair sized. These pickups are not active, they're passive pickups. They just look, because they've got plastic shells, a bit like there might be EMGs, but they're not. And it's a standard SG.
Yeah.
You sounded like one of the dinosaurs from the Flintstones. It's amazing. Dino.
This is about £500. So that's for an American-made Gibson SGJ. Did it come with a case or a gig bag or anything?
Gig bag.
Came with a gig bag, so that's pretty cool.
It's great value for an American-made, you know, Gibson guitar.
Yeah. So that's half our budget, and so we wanted to spend the other half on an amplifier. And the obvious...
We turned to Father Marshall.
Yes, we turned to Dr. Jim up in the sky. And we decided we would use one of their new DSL amplifiers. Now, we could have used, what we should have used rather to stay in budget, was the little DSL 15 combo. But we thought we would take a slight poetic license and just smidgen over the budget a little bit by using the DSL 15 head with a 212 Marshall enclosure. That's really I mean, we could have used the combo, but
we took liberties.
You always, yeah. I mean, you'll get a great Angus Young sound with the combo, but you always get a little bit more bass end if you use the bigger cabinet, and we really wanted that kind of sound. Now for lead stuff.
Well, let me just say, I wouldn't normally consider going this way. I wouldn't normally go TC for this kind of rig.
Well, I wanted to. I didn't want to use a drive pedal because, again, I do think that where we've made mistakes with trying to get the Angus sound in the past is we've just dialed in more gain for a solo, and all I wanted to do was dial in a boost. And I'm going along my shelf looking for boost pedals that didn't have gain in them, and I picked up an exotic one and an Electro Harmonics one, and I thought, oh, there's that TC one, TC Spark. It's only been out a couple of months. Never even tried it, not plugged it in.
Cheap too, isn't it?
I think so. Certainly less than £100.
Yeah.
Pablo's going to look it up. True bypass, and it has 4 knobs on it. You can see this on the Andertons website if you want a close-up. Gain, volume, bass and treble. But what I really liked about this, and I thought, we'll try that, it's got a little dip switch in the middle that dials in either just a straight clean boost, or a boost with extra bass end, which they call the fat sound, or a boost with extra mid-range, which they call the mid sound. And I thought, let's try. So we tried all 3, and the Spark just was the daddy, wasn't it?
It did the job. Yeah.
So you're going to hear what it sounds like when Rob plays. So
here's without a Spark in my life, and then Chapman will stamp on the Spark or push the Spark.
And what you'll see is if Rob now plays just a little bit of like lead stuff that would go over the top of that type of solo, and without the boost, you'll see we lack a bit of, we're struggling to get any kind of sustain. You'll see. See what happens there? Now, if we hit the boost in, so it just adds that kind of extra sort of Angus Young styled boost in. So it's a bit more gainy, I suppose, but it's more about the
It's a
welly,
crispy
isn't it?
edge on the outside of what's going down.
So you could put this rig together with the DSL 15 combo and this guitar and this pedal for pretty much £1,000. It would probably be just over, but if you had a bit of a haggle, you'd probably get it for £1,000. If you want the cab,
I know you were advocating bartering.
yeah, you can have a bit of a barter. If you had the head and the cab and the pedal, it's going to blow your budget by maybe £100. But still worth it.
So let's go basic tones.
Yeah.
Let's go neck pickup. I'm going to play Angus Young styled stuff, not actual tunes from Angus Young. So here's my neck pickup, ever so slightly rolled off. Now what I'm making sure to do there is pick super hard.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that when he's dressed up like a little boy, prancing around
In
the
his
stage,
schoolboy outfit.
yeah, he picks like a
I
good
watched AC/DC live at River Plate about 3 nights ago. It's just, and isn't the craziest thing, if you've never seen it, if you want to see like crowds, I don't even know in the UK or US or whatever we'd get away with this anymore from a health and safety point of view, but like 50,000, I think there's 70,000 at River Plate or something, but most of them are kind of like on the floor of the big football pitch. And it's like, as they're all going crazy, and Angus Young's and what's his name, Brian Dudar, whatever his name is, running up and down the Brian Johnson, of course it is, and that like the crowd are swaying, like 50,000 people all going, "We'll go over here, no we won't, we'll go over here." It's just like, and it's mental.
That's great, isn't it?
That is proper.
great.
Yeah.
That was badass.
And let's be fair, Marshall DSL 15.
Yeah, it's nailing it.
That would gig like no shadow.
Yeah,
we're not even on.
We're on 4?
We're on the volume's on 4, and the gain's as low as it could go.
How low could you go? That low?
That's one of the things I've always loved about Marshalls is, stick it in a room with a drummer and a bass player, and you are there, 100%, even with a 15.
Well, that's why Rabia uses Marshall all day long.
It is.
I love Marshall.
That was a hair out moment.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
I know. I wonder what they're going to do now.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Now it does the Angus Young tone, but will it Nuno?
That is what Back in Black would have sounded like had Nuno Betancourt been in the band. It's awesome.
That was a slightly hairy rendition of Get the Funk Out.
Well, still insane aroma, man.
I must admit that was a lot easier than I thought.
It was a lot easier.
It does help
because what the viewers don't realise is that we have tried to do Angus Young before. We tried to do him, but he wriggled.
Well, you know what we did? I think
and got away
before DSL came out.
Outfit.
The low-cost stuff that you could get from Marshall to try and do a sound like Angus Young for under £1,000 was pants, I think is the word I was looking for. So yeah, we couldn't do it. We tried it with MG.
Didn't work.
You can't get an Angus Young
Tried it with
sound
Class 5.
Tried it with Class 5, didn't work. Tried it with MA series, didn't work.
DSL.
DSL though.
Works.
Works.
Marshall are back.
They're back.
They're back. I've been Rob Chappers.
I've been the Cap 10.
I've been Beer.
Take it easy.